And now, back to PTR Radio.
I made a little list of some of the things that you discuss. Bestiality, abortion, AIDS, Irishmen who drink, nuns, premature ejaculation, breastfeeding, and farts.
This is PTR Radio.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of PTR Radio here on the fabulous interweb. We're back. Fun. All kinds of goodies to talk about this evening. But I think we will start off with yet another way that AI is going to ruin the world. Because at this point I am firmly entrenched in that AI is going to ruin us.
Okay.
So I got not excited, but I got a little worried that they were going to make a real life Simpsons movie. Because the trend in Hollywood has been, hey, if an animated one or CGI one is good, a real one would be better, or will at least make us as much money because we got to milk the American public out of everything that they have. They did it with The Lion King. They did it with Aladdin. They did it with, this and that and the other, right? Life of Pi, Jungle Book, everything. They've made all these. All right.
Life of Pi was animated?
I thought it was originally. I don't know.
No.
You guys could just say
listing movies at that point. Star Wars.
You could say yes and, all right? This is,
Yeah.
Well, no, if it was,
not us.
I want to know if I missed something because I love that movie.
Okay. Well, I came across something. Yeah. I came across the Simpsons movie trailer on YouTube. And the cast seemed amazing. All right?
Yes, that is the problem.
That and while I was watching it, I went, all right, this movie would either cost $1 billion to make or this is fake. And some of the fakedness was easy to note because some of the people just...
Fakedness.
Yes, that's the word. Look it up. Fakedness. It's in Webster's now. All right. It was easy to see, but some of it not so much. For example, Ben Stiller as Moe in the Simpsons movie made a lot of sense. But some of the others not so much. But it starred Adam Sandler as Homer, and who did they have as? I forget who they had as Marge, but
wasn't it? Who was the bridesmaids?
Was it Kristen
SNL?
Wiig?
Kristen Wiig, I think.
Yeah.
Kirsten Wiig.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it was Kirsten Bell. I think it was Kirsten Wiig. Yeah. But it was, it had Patrick Stewart as Waylon Smithers. So let's see here.
Is Smithers or Mr. Burns? Because he's looking
Smithers.
like Mr. Burns.
Kristen Wiig as Marge. Jacob Tremblay as Bart. I don't know who that is. It had McKenna Grace as Lisa Simpson. It had Will Ferrell as Ned Flanders. It had Simon Pegg as Lenny. Steve Buscemi played Montgomery Burns. And here we can...
No.
Yeah, we can flip through this.
I mean, he can...
Yep. Steve
Buscemi.
Buscemi. I thought he would make a good Moe, too, to be completely honest. But it made sense for him to play Mr. Burns. And then we had Neil Patrick Harris as Waylon Smithers.
Yeah, younger Neil Patrick Harris, yes.
Ben Stiller as Moe. John C. Reilly as Barney.
See, that looks too much like Jack Black for me.
Zach Galifianakis.
That's a handsome Zach Galifianakis.
Steve Carell as Seymour Skinner.
That looks more like Ross from from Friends.
That's
racist as hell.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It is. Gaten Matarazzo as Milhouse.
That is not Gaten Maz. That don't even look.
No.
Well, I guess.
And
maybe.
this is the one that got me. Danny McBride. This guy does not look like Danny McBride.
No.
For Otto. He does not.
Yeah.
Bill Hader as Reverend Timothy Lovejoy. Keegan-Michael Key as Dr. Julius Hibbert. And again, then here is, Homer. So, I mean, that was, like I said, just not what what I envisioned AI doing for us when they said AI is going to make your life better.
See, but the thing to think about is AI is going to get better. So like all of these discrepancies with the people, what they look like, it's gonna get more realistic because, well, Stargate.
Well, but here's the problem. I saw this one, and then I start to see a whole bunch of other movie trailers that aren't real.
That is the AI already working, because it's spying on your cookies.
So now I can't tell what movies are actually going to happen and which ones aren't.
So what are some of the ones that have come up? I'll tell you if they're going to happen or not.
So like there's a rumor of a remake of Stargate happening with Chris Evans and the guy who played Freddie Mercury on Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's not going to happen. That's fake.
All right. And there was let's see here, what other ones were there?
They may be doing a remake of Stargate, the original movie.
Oh yeah.
But that's not happening. But what you just said is not happening.
Oh, real life version of Futurama starring Ryan Reynolds as Philip J. Fry.
I have heard that there is a Futurama movie being shopped around. I have not heard Ryan Reynolds attached to it because he's too busy doing Deadpool. Deadpool things.
He-Man, Master of the Universe, starring Chris Hemsworth.
Yes, I have heard that one. And yeah, that one actually was cast. No, that one I remember seeing. They actually cast, and I believe that I want to say Idris Elba is going to be Man-at-Arms, if it's the one I'm thinking of.
Here's another one. Back to the Future 4, starring Tom Holland.
That's a lie.
Yeah. That one's a lie.
A movie adaptation of Among Us.
That would be stupid.
Well,
or to coin a phrase, that would be sus.
Or it already exists. It's called The Traitors.
Yeah, because all right. So in 2024, He-Man was announced, but it's not Chris Hemsworth. It's somebody else supposedly attached to it that I've never heard of. Jared
Nicholas Galitzine. Yes.
Nicholas Galitzine, yes. Idris Elba is playing Man-at-Arms. Sam C. Wilson as Trapjaw. Goatman.
There's
a Goatman character.
Here's another one. Fight Club 2.
No.
These are what I'm telling you they want to make. Titanic 2, The Return of Jack. I mean,
maybe if it's like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Titanic 2 Zombies.
So here's one that here's a new fan theory that I am shipping hard in my world. The Rock, one of my favorite movies of all time. Welcome to The Rock.
Okay, for a second I thought you were talking about Dwayne Johnson, but okay.
No, he doesn't own it. Okay.
I thought maybe they were going to make a movie about his life. Maybe it was going to be some documentary.
They did a TV show. It's called Young Rock. It should have just called it Pebble, but no.
Rolling Stone.
But
That's what they should have called it.
possibly. Fan theory is that Mason is actually the real name of James Bond, and that's why Sean Connery didn't play James Bond anymore, because he was captured by the United States and thrown in prison.
Yeah.
And I love this theory.
Yeah.
And I'm going to preach this theory till I die. Because it just makes that movie that much more awesome.
Yeah.
So, by the way, there was a Fight Club too, as in the original books that the movie was based off of. There is a sequel to the original book. Technically, it's a graphic novel. Yes, it does exist. But
Okay.
everyone doubts it'll ever be made into a movie because it's even crazier than.
That's one of those that I don't like the social climate. I don't think you could make Fight Club now.
Yeah, but that's why would you? It'd be like doing The Usual Suspects too. It's like, why?
Well, I'm even saying just like remaking it. Like we talked about how Revenge of the Nerds, you couldn't really remake it without editing the story pretty serious, right? Well, I don't think you could do Fight Club now because it almost would be encouraging people. And you don't want to do that. The same way that you
kind
cannot
of,
find Falling Down anywhere streaming because people would take it as a how-to manual.
Yeah.
See, the issue is that in some ways Joker is sort of a remake of Fight Club in some ways. So if they remade Fight Club, they'd probably make it a musical with Lady Gaga.
Oh, no. I was afraid that's where you were going.
Well,
I have not seen Joker 2. I'm not planning to ever see Joker 2. I barely survived seeing the first one.
I told you all from jump that as soon as it was a musical, like, no, hell no, I'm out.
mm-hmm.
Sorry. No need for it.
Well, maybe this will help, Mike. Because musicals make you depressed, right? I mean, we know that.
Don't
Especially,
make me depressed. Musicals make me angry.
well, this might also
British
help with
people
anger.
make me angry. British musicals, however, because it's too much anger, then I get depressed.
Okay. Well, you added this article in here. Johnson & Johnson have now gotten FDA approval for a nasal spray derived from ketamine to help with depression.
Yeah, I said that this is basically the start of the movie Minority Report because they had the inhaler drug, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you pointed out that this was from that scene from Next Generation Encounter at Farpoint, which I have to say I thought Encounter at Farpoint was one of the original episodes.
It is. It's a 2-part pilot.
No, I meant from.
Oh no.
Captain Kirk.
No.
I thought that was. Okay.
No, it was the 2-part pilot from Next Generation.
See, my problem with this. Well, I got several problems with this. One, for those who had an inadequate response to oral antidepressants, how many antidepressants you going to go through before you get prescribed this? That's number one. Number two, the fact that it's ketamine derived and you're snorting it. I don't even like the stupid flucosamine nasal spray I get if like my allergies are bad. I don't like any of something about nasal spray. I'm not a fan. Like I feel like this somehow is gonna I don't know, man, get like rot your brain or something. It's gonna lead to cocaine. That's what it's gonna do.
You know, I started watching the new Noah Wyle medical drama on
I have not
Max.
started yet, but I want to watch it. I've heard that it is basically ER meets St. Elsewhere meets Captain Planet. No, I threw that last one in there.
It kind of meets Trauma Life in the ER, like a real medical show.
Okay.
It's pretty graphic and it's pretty edgy, and there's bits of levity in there, but there's a lot of like intense drama too. And I'm like 3 episodes, maybe 4 episodes in, because it only comes out weekly, but it's good. It's good. And it's not just Noah Wyle, but he's the head of the ER. So in the shift, they're basically showing you hour by hour. One show is 1 hour in the ER.
Oh, that's the one. It's 24. So it's
yeah, kind of.
ER meets Staying Elsewhere meets 24.
Mm-hmm. And so like I've gone I think I'm through like 11 a.m., 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. And, so far, there's been like 3 people that have died so far. So their morning's not going well. No. And he's gotten yelled at by the administration like 4 times already. And he's broken down crying like twice. So Noah Wyle has. And they've got student doctors in for their first day of student doctoring. And the student doctors student doctor killed somebody. And another one almost killed somebody. And so, yeah, it's good. And one student doctor's had to change his clothes 3 times already.
So what you're saying is it's very realistic, which means don't live near Pittsburgh.
Actually, I think they're mirroring big city hospitals very accurately. I think they are mirroring the state of the emergency room in large metropolitan areas extremely accurately, where, hey, it's 6 to 8 hours wait time once you get into the ER.
Okay, so Pittsburgh is a big city.
Yeah.
It is called the Pit.
Well, that's one of they deal with that in the beginning. That's what Noah Wyle calls it, and the administration hates that he calls it that.
Because they wanted to call it the Peach Pit.
No, they just want him to call it the ER, but he refers to it as the Pit, as in like hell.
Okay.
So, yeah, it really good show.
You make it sound so fascinating.
It is.
You know,
it really
upbeat
is. Oh,
you feel good about yourself.
No, it's not going to make you feel good about yourself at all. But it's going to pull you. It's going to suck you in. But I have been watching quite a few new shows. I
need the feel good stuff now because
okay. Well, then you need to watch. Then you need to watch Shifting Gears.
Yeah, I do.
All right, because that's feel good. I mean, it's Tim Allen, so you can't really not feel good. And Kate Denning, so you just look at her and you feel good. And then in a different way. Yeah. And it's also got Stifler. So,
Okay.
And it's got the wheelchair guy from NCIS New Orleans. So, and then and Happy's Place. If you're a Reba fan, you got to watch Happy's Place.
I saw an outtake, I guess, like one of her the one who played the son on Reba. Guest starred and made it like he was playing his old character and found Reba after all of this time.
Oh,
Diane was out in the car waiting. Happy's Place is another one I want to watch. I just got so much damn TV on.
I've limited it.
I suckered myself in. Like I said, I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to subscribe to another streaming service, and then I went and got Paramount Plus. So now I have other shows that I need to watch. And
Animal Control. If you just want a good laugh, Animal Control. Yes.
No. Joel McHale can eat a bag. No.
Oh, no, he's great.
No. Don't. Nope.
I'm with Mike here. I tried.
No.
That's must see TV at my house.
Yeah, the most Joel McHale I can take is him hosting
Crime Scene Kitchen.
Crime Scene Kitchen. That's as much as I can take.
Yes, I can deal with that because he's the prop.
Yeah.
I completely lost it when they were teasing new episodes of Tiger King, and it was a 2-hour special that was all about him. Joel McHale, no, not a fan. Not a fan.
All right.
The only McHale I want to see is McHale's Navy. Because, Ernest Borgnine is always good, even though that's such an old show.
So, yep. But no, that's what I've been. Oh, and been watching an old show called Buying the Bayou. So it's the same thing as like buying Alaska or buying the Rockies or any of those, except for they're buying in like Louisiana, Mississippi, all those, and it's rednecks buying redneck shacks in the swamp, basically. Okay. And so it's funny that way.
Yeah, I want to watch Watson, which I haven't started yet. I think it just premiered yesterday.
Yep.
That when I first heard, it was like it was just a medical drama with Watson. I was like, this is House, but this time they decided to go with Watson. But then I found out that no, he's literally Watson, who's Sherlock Holmes, like a modern day Sherlock Holmes, except that Sherlock Holmes has died. Yeah. So it's the post Rickenbacker Falls Watson who's doing medical stuff. I'm like, okay, that sounds like an interesting thing. So we'll see. I haven't watched it yet, but that's on my to-do list.
Yeah, I'm waiting on George and Mandy's first marriage to come back on. So
no, I refuse to watch that.
No,
because I don't know much about anything. That entire, but the fact that you look it up and you go, oh, so these are characters from the other shows that they're getting a divorce. Why do I want to watch a sitcom about a couple that I know their marriage is going to fail? That just no, it does not interest me in any way whatsoever.
Now, see, you bring up an interesting conundrum because I'm running into this with another show that I got hooked on. Now, I was a big fan. Kim and I both were fans of Yellowstone. Now, Yellowstone had spin-offs, which were prequels. They had 1883, which showed how the Duttons initially got to Montana. Then they had 1923 with Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren. And we just finished season 1. Which, incidentally, that's the whole reason that I got Paramount Plus is because season 2 is going to premiere next month streaming. We watched season 1, and at the end of the season, there's a threat that they're going to lose the ranch. But because Yellowstone happened, they don't lose the ranch. So, spoiler alert. I mean, come on.
There's, where was it at?
I get what you're saying about, and the fact that it's a sitcom. Eventually, well, even Young Sheldon, you got to a point, and Chuck Lorre knew you get to a point where the story has already been told, so we're going to end it, and they didn't try and drag it out. Now the spinoff, well, I mean, I guess it's okay, but
but your Yellowstone thing, it's like your Yellowstone thing. It's like. They might lose the ranch. Well, they're not. But now you can say, okay, well, I'm still interested to see how do they not lose the ranch. Well, where if you knew from Yellowstone that they do lose the ranch and all got killed except for one kid still survived, and that's the one who goes on to create the county threat. Something like that where you'd be like, well, why do I want to watch this? I already know it's going to be a huge disaster. That's the difference.
There was I can't remember. I wish I knew where
because they got, the reality is that story is, it's basically about bloodshed, but it's the other subplots that they're showing about the one son coming back from Africa and his journey to get there. So that's got you interested. And then there's a whole side story about the Native Americans that were on the land and how the Catholics basically destroyed them. That storyline. So
I mean,
the storyline about keeping the ranch is like actually the third most interesting of the entire show, even though that's what the show is based on.
Well,
or centered around.
In reality, Yellowstone is just a soap opera, right? It's no different than Days of Our Lives or Oh My Children or any of those.
No. Don't play that game.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is.
Not. Quit talking to AI. It is no.
No,
it is not.
It is. Do you or do you not have one son who was at the ranch, but then he got too big for his britches, and then he wanted to venture away from the ranch and get a big city job?
No. Well,
yes.
Okay, so you're talking about Jamie, yeah, but...
All right, and then did you not have a son who was away from the ranch and then came back to the ranch, deciding that was the real life that he really wanted?
Okay, so let's back up. Jamie was sent away to not be a rancher because his father needed a lawyer in the family.
Okay, and didn't he come back to the ranch to realize that that's really where he needed to be?
No. Jamie wanted to sell the ranch to create an airport. Casey went off to the Army and came back. What are you doing?
I don't know. My phone just all of a sudden started saying things, which was not good.
Casey was in the Army and came back and tried to be a rancher on his own ranch, but came back to help the family keep the ranch.
So,
no, that's not a Hallmark. That's not a Hallmark. That's not soap opera.
It sounds very much like a soap opera that I remember my mom watching when I was younger. Yeah, and isn't there a woman in there somewhere that's pining for a man that she can't have, or has men competing for her? Maybe.
No.
And you have a gruff old man who will do anything to keep his way of life.
You described 90%.
Here's the thing. Here is your 100% ironclad way of saying, no, it's obviously not a soap opera. Okay? Simple test. Is there a new episode every day? Then it's not a soap.
No, soap operas have evolved. They're not every single day now. Well,
that could be your argument for everything. Everything is really a Matt Groening cartoon animation. And
well, obviously, the Simpsons did it.
Around.
Obviously, the Simpsons did it first. I mean, Yellowstone is just rehashing a Simpsons episode. I mean, there's no question about that. So,
But that's obvious.
Yeah. All right. So,
The Simpsons has predicted just about everything.
Yeah.
That has ever happened everywhere.
Yeah. So, what's he digging for now?
Not all about this. This is what you've driven me to.
Wow, that's appropriate. That's good. I like that. Look, he's graduated from wigs and hats. All right.
I wore that to work a couple weeks ago and literally just sat at my desk typing away and waited for somebody to come and ask me a question. I just turned around. And they didn't know what to do.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, now if I did that, they'd be like, "What are you wearing? Wait, you can see me?"
All right. So a little bit of technology news. So Nintendo has announced that they're coming out with a Switch 2. So Colin, have you put yours on pre-order yet?
No, I don't buy them like that. I wait until it's no longer cool before I would pick something up like that.
Yeah, I don't see a real reason to buy one right away.
I still have a PlayStation 2.
Yeah. My PS2 is at my daughter's house, so I have an original Switch just because I had something here for the kids to play with more so than anything else. But yeah, it doesn't get played very much. Hell, my Steam Deck doesn't get played that much. But it's just I don't. The Switch was kind of a revolution in gaming, especially in portable gaming. I don't see the Switch 2 having the same mass appeal as the original Switch did. I don't see people going out and, some families have bought, 2 or 3 Switches so that each kid can have their own. I don't see them doing the same thing with just basically a new one that's just, slightly better, slightly bigger, slightly, whatever. Especially if given the install base of the original Switch, they will still be making games that work on both consoles.
So that was going to be my question. And no, I do not own one. But what exactly is the difference between 1 and 2? Like, is this like an iPhone 13 to an iPhone 14, or is this like an iPhone 10 to an iPhone 15?
It's probably what
kind of jump is it?
They doubled the RAM. They made the screen better. They made it a little bit bigger. They gave it a little bit more battery life. The controllers are different, but and they have more like AI cores and more graphic cores and things like that into it so that it can do a little bit better graphics. But you don't really get a Switch for graphics. And Nintendo has never been known for their graphics.
Okay, so maybe this is going to be more graphic based, because isn't there like a dock that you can use so you can play it on like a TV?
Yeah, I mean there's a dock for the original Switch too, though. So well,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But it's still pretty much. I mean, this Switch I think maxed out at 720p. It was never going to be a 4K model, and even this new one that doesn't go up to 4K. But and there are going to be some titles which they say are going to be Switch 2 exclusives. But I don't believe the vast majority of game makers out there are going to jump on that Switch 2 exclusive market. Just simply because the install base of original Switch, how many Switch consoles have sold? There are 146 million original Switches out there. Would you want to not sell to all those people and make it Switch 2 exclusive?
Well, I don't know if the Switch 2 is digital only or not.
It's not.
So
it has a physical game port so that you can use your physical games from the Switch 1.
But are Switch 2 exclusive games going to be on that, or are they only to be digital? The point being, if they're only doing Switch 2 games as digital, then it doesn't cost them anything to have an exclusive Switch 2 version of the game that has additional graphics and so forth.
Switch 2 exclusive games will not be digital only. The Switch 2 will be able to play both physical and digital games, including its exclusive games.
Okay, because that changes things. I mean, if you're having to actually ship things, then you're a little less likely to want to do that. But they don't have to. They could do digital only for an upgrade version. The thing is, if they make the Switch 2, then it's going to be less, I need to replace all of my Switches. It's going to be, my Switch died. I'm replacing it. I might as well replace it with a Switch 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they'll stop manufacturing the original Switch at some point.
Right, but
they just need to cut it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll stop selling the original Switch, and if I'm kind of the same mindset as you here, if the Switch 2 exclusive games were going to be digital only, then I could almost guarantee you that it's a transition, and the next gen would not have a physical game for it and would be only digital.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Nintendo is still the one putting out physical games. For the most part, Xbox, PlayStation, they have almost all but transitioned to digital only. I mean, you go and you get a PlayStation game and you put it in the console, the first thing it wants to do is download a brand new version of that game because the game that they shipped on disc isn't good anymore. You know, plenty of people have complained about that in the past. And, you know, not everybody is connected to high-speed internet still. So that still causes a problem, which is why some people still like Switch. And they like the ability to play disconnected. You know, you don't have to be connected for everything. That's a benefit for Switch, especially for some parents who are looking for, hey, I want to give my kids a device, but I don't want them to be online. You know, you can still play Mario Kart without being on the internet. You know? So, and that was one of the games that they said is going to be coming out with the Switch 2 at launch is a new version of Mario Kart. So,
well, of course.
Yeah. You know, one of their number one selling titles. So, but I was just curious what we thought about that. It's not the most important thing to me. You know, like I said, I don't see myself getting a new one anytime soon.
Yeah, I mostly play games that come on various different subscriptions they pay for, like Xbox and Ubisoft, and you know, whatever Epic gives me for free this week.
Yeah.
Speaking of, have you guys happened to go on the Netflix app for Windows or on a Windows PC to see that they have games in the app now?
Yeah, I've seen that. Also, YouTube has a ton of games built into theirs now as well. So yeah, you can find mobile games. Although I think Netflix might be scaling back their games. It was something they were doing for a while on the mobile only browser. And, you know, now, but I thought that they said that it was a failure and they were going to get rid of it, but I could be wrong on that.
Possibly, but it was it was a beta on the desktop.
Yeah. So,
and the games performed, you know, fairly well. Limited library, but
yeah. Yep. Talking about performing fairly well, I did put, you know, we're always constantly looking for potential zombie outbreaks, given our knowledge of where they come from. And scientists are one step closer to making our fears happen. So,
of course they are.
You know, according to Prevention Magazine, which I didn't know that they catered to the study of brains, but Yale School of Medicine neuroscientist Zvonimir Velija, PhD, and his colleagues shocked the medical community with a groundbreaking experiment. They removed a slaughterhouse pig's brain from its head and deprived it from oxygen at room temperature for 4 hours. Then they hooked it up to a resuscitation machine and revived it to an extent. Thank goodness there's a qualifier on there. A living brain's vasculature or network of blood vessels carries oxygenated, nutrient-rich blood to the brain through arteries and capillaries. So the research students use a machine called Brain X to pump a mixture of preserving agents and drugs into the dead pig brain, targeting pathways typically damaged due to loss of oxygen. The gray cortex tissue blushed pink, brain cells resumed the production of proteins, and neurons began displaying signs of metabolic activity just as living cells do. The brain once again carried out basic cellular functions, but it wasn't conscious.
Now, do we really, really need zombie brains? Do we need to bring the brains back from consciousness? I need to know this.
Do we need zombie pigs?
Seriously? Well, I honestly feel like this is one of those, just because you can,
should you,
doesn't mean you should moments.
Well, it's like, is this a stop on the way to being able to put people in cryogenic suspension for long-term space travel to other solar systems? But
if when you get to the other side, you're a zombie, is that a good thing? I mean,
Well,
I don't know that
this
we
is a
need
steps.
we don't need a movie
question
called
is
Zombies
not-
of Mars.
The question is not, are they a zombie? The question is it good enough to not be a zombie?
No, I believe they are zombies. Because if you dead and then you not dead, then you zombie. So
Is that how you define a zombie?
well, if you dead, then you not dead.
Someone who was dead and is not dead.
Well, if you
No.
look on the meme, Jesus was the first zombie.
I'm glad you said it.
I mean,
I thought it, but I was like, I'm not going to piss off half of our listener base by saying it. I have said it before. I will never say it again.
The
Hey,
general definition of a zombie is the body is still living and moving, but the brain is dead.
You
If you
just
have-
described half of West Virginia.
yeah, you described like meth heads.
Yes. That's why they're sometimes described as zombie-like.
So we're saying Florida.
So if
Well-
the brain comes back to full functioning, then by definition, not a zombie.
Okay. That's well.
If
So Jesus
if
wasn't a
the,
zombie.
right, so it's like you look at the parts of the brain, right? So if the brain stem is still active, so you're basically animal, but all the cerebral cortex, all the parts that actually make you human, if that part's dead, zombie.
You have put a lot of thought into this.
Are you doing experiments? Or do you got a secret lab?
Do you know that I have a sister who literally did papers on zombies to get her bachelor's degree?
I know. It's just funnier to think that you have a secret lab underneath the house. You know?
Yeah. And you know what? I still remember we did a movie. Was it Zombies? That she came in and guest reviewed, and you bastards put me after her review, which essentially was a thesis. I'm like, I can't follow this.
Yeah, she broke
This is
down
like
zombies
this
by
is like-
type of zombie.
This is like going up trying to sing, Greatest Love of All when Whitney Houston herself actually just sang. Like, now we're going to bring Mike up to sing Greatest Love of All. No, you're not. No, you're not. Nope.
Well, I'll tell you what we will do. We will do our movie review. And this week, our movie review is a Netflix show called Heart of Stone, featuring none other than Wonder Woman herself, Gal Gadot.
Gwyneth Paltrow. Oh.
No. No. And who's, I can't remember who's up for this. Am I
You
up?
are.
I'm up. Okay, great. I am
I
up.
think it's Gadot, by the way. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Gadot. She said it herself. Gadot.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I prefer that.
So, this is an American spy action. They say thriller. I just say it's an American spy action film. And it's the whole idea of secret organization that's not held to the same responsibilities and isn't overseen by any government agency. We had it with The Beekeeper. We had it with what was the one that we just looked at that had the farmer's guy and
Red One?
no, not that was the elves. No, I'm talking about had Marky Mark in it. The Firm?
Tomorrow War.
No, it was the Firm or something. I don't know. Mark Wahlberg movies.
The Union.
Yeah, the Union. That's it. Yeah, the Union, where there's this secret organization that does stuff that nobody else can do, and so. But what's interesting is the movie starts off that they have embedded one of their agents inside, MI6. Ooh, nifty. We're spying on the spies. Cool. But she can't break her cover, So she's supposed to stay in the van, which that's not really giving anything away. You learn it in the first 5 minutes, all right? But just like Tom Arnold, she doesn't want to stay in the van. She wants to get out of the van. Unlike Tom Arnold, she gets out of the van. All right? So she gets out of the van. She gets to do her thing. And at first, she doesn't blow her cover, but she does save the day. And what you learn is that this, agency that she works for called the Charter, okay, they are really supported by this quantum computer, okay, which is this really cool little golden chippy-doo that is so great at hacking and learning and analyzing that it can essentially guess the future and tell them what they should do with amazing accuracy. And so, but they use it to a fault because they lose all of their, their gut feeling and their emotions in it. So, and somebody else wants it because they want to rule the world. And so, it's an interesting movie to see this back and forth happen because the bad guys get it. The good guys want it back. So there's this, it's typical plot when it comes down to that point. It's just an action film. But the concept of there's this quantum computer that somebody's using and it can help them predict the future, kind of like Minority Report, that's kind of interesting. It's a little bit of a different take on a similar movie theme. And there's lots of good action. There's lots of good fight scenes. There's, high altitude parachuting. There's all kinds of this fun stuff. And there's a little bit of buddy cop time in there too. And to some degree, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Warehouse 13 for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it did. Maybe because of all the different little, outreach sites and stuff like that. But anyway, I like this movie. It was pretty good. I'll probably watch it at least once more because I'll probably try to see if my wife wants to watch it because I watched it by myself this time, not knowing what it was going to be like. So I'll watch it at least one more time. I'm going to give this one a smile myself. Pretty decent. I am getting a little tired of watching Gal Gadot kick ass though. She needs to be a girly girl once, and we need to see her in some more sexiness. So I'd like to see her take a Chris Evans route and maybe have a movie where she isn't the kick-ass person, like he did, where he was just
she had that.
What did she have it in?
Justice League.
No, she was still the kick-ass person. So she needs one like he did, where he was a novice and didn't know nothing. So, all right, that's mine. Smile. All right, Colin, you're up.
So, did a little research. This movie was on many people's lists of worst movies of the year. And I think I figured out why that. This is not the first movie of a series. This is the second movie. The first movie, you get to know the characters. Everybody the characters get to know each other. You have some plot where you find out what's going on. You get shown this world. They skipped that movie. This is the sequel to a movie that never existed. And so in this movie, they didn't have the time to actually meet anybody. So you are not getting shown, you're getting told. That's one of the primary rules that keeps getting said about how to do a good movie or a good play or a good book, whatever. It's show, don't tell. This movie is all tell. So from a personal basis, people get shuffled in and out, and you as the audience member, it's like, oh, this terrible thing just happened. You're supposed to feel, bad about this, and feel sorry for the characters and just what just happened. But you don't, because you barely met them. They showed up, said, "Hello, my name is this. This is who I am. These are all my things. I stood up here at the front of the Miss America pageant and told everybody all about myself. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, okay. You're all dead. Wonderful. I'm not sure I care. I wish I cared because it seemed like you were some interesting characters. I was looking forward to getting to know you, but now you're gone. So now we're supposed to care about this other people who are just getting shuffled in. But I don't know much about them because all we have is what you said that they were. You didn't spend the time to actually show us anything about them. I will give this better than Matt because I enjoyed a bunch of the action, the very video game-ish kind of things that were going on. They were great. But I'm not going to give it a smile because it's just a colossal failure in movie making. So it just gives a smirk.
Go ahead, Mike, and then I have a bit of a retort for Colin.
So we start thinking that Gal Gadot is the fish out of water and not the field agent from the jump. Then we realize that she might be playing both sides here, and she's faking it with her team. I'm still not. So I get through, and I don't know what Gal's team actually is. Like, I know what MI6 is or is supposed to be because that's kind of a well-established thing. And I need a backstory on the charter and how they have Knight Rider tech with the holographic displays and all, and I'm talking from the series when they would like take the stuff and throw it to the other guy's screen and what have you, and then we get the twist. And I'm like, what the frick is going on here? Does anybody work for just one organization in this world? Because it seems like everybody's working for everybody, and it's just a coin flip of whose team you're on that day. And now we got Aeon Flux's old partner is running this team, right? And she repurposed the blimp from Aeon Flux to be the hub for her new organization that has the AI computer that was funded by Project Stargate up amongst the clouds. And so to summarize, I had to watch this movie in chunks. I watched it a couple of days apart, and I had to go back because there were parts that didn't make sense to me. I don't know if I didn't pick a natural breaking point to pause at. In general, it wasn't bad, but to Colin's point, it wasn't good. And it kept popping up as a movie suggested on Netflix. And now I understand why I kept avoiding it, even though I love Gal Gadot. Maybe I'm just getting old. I'm giving this a meh, okay? Second one in a row that I'm giving a meh to. Maybe I just want less of the fancy tech in modern times, and maybe the whole cloak and dagger organization storyline is not my thing anymore. Maybe if they had started with or flipped back to show what the charter actually, where it came from, like where did the heart come from? Who developed it? Okay, like I know that the four kings had nothing to do with developing the charter because none of them is that smart. So, or developing the heart. So so I'm giving this a meh because it's just very inconsistent. And I do not like the fact that it ended setting up for a potential sequel.
Well, and to that, it has great signs for a sequel, according to Netflix. For a movie that you guys say isn't that great, it was the second most watched movie on Netflix between July to December of 2023.
I'm going to tell you exactly why. Because Gal Gadot is wearing skin-tight clothes throughout the entire thing. People watch it with mute on.
The film generated 109.6 million views and over 228 million hours of watch time.
Which is only a third of what the Hawk 2 girl got on her podcast.
So, leaving being second only to the apocalyptic thriller Leave the World Behind, which had 121 million views, so really not that far behind. So,
maybe we should do that one next week then, if
No.
that one was better than this.
I don't know that we want to do that. So, now that being said, it does say it has an uninspired score of 30% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's still extremely popular because, as we know, a score on Rotten Tomatoes does not mean success. So,
I'm saying I enjoyed it up to through the first half.
And
The
boy,
second half was terrible.
do I want the hologram thingy that he has. Because that looked, man, I've wanted that since Iron Man first played out with the idea of it. But I want all that thing. Boy.
Yeah. And I'm all about the sequel because the sequel goes back to where they started in the movie in the first place.
So.
And where they started was fine. Where they ended up was fine. The piece in the middle I didn't care about. Because
I guess.
And
all they did was tell me about them.
And also, by the way, Mike, you should know that because Heart of Stone had such a success in viewership, it paves the way for a Red Notice 2 because it proves how valuable Gal Gadot is to Netflix.
I don't want a Red Notice 2 either.
You don't want more
shit that I don't want.
Rock and Reynolds?
I don't want more Rock. I'm sick of him.
That is a
As
threesome.
soon as I saw that Red 1 was just a giant commercial for his freaking Under Armour merchandise, I don't want any more.
Oh, come on.
No. Go ahead. Pick
Okay, time for another one.
1 to 32.
1 to 32.
Let's see what I'm going to get stuck being taken point on. Go ahead.
Hey, do we have Back in Action already on the list?
Back in Action.
That's the one
No.
that they keep advertising at me now. So
We can add it to the list for the next go around.
Okay.
It's not on the list as of right now.
29.
Okay, if you want to do 1 to 33, okay, 29. I was going to say, if you want to do 1 to 33, then
no.
we'll
We
add
should leave it for next.
Okay. What is this, dudes?
Dudes?
2 city street kids, along with their best friend, head west to look for the good life in California. What is this?
It stars John Cryer.
John Cryer and Flea. Oh, great.
And Lee Ving, which I don't even remember what he's from.
And what?
Lee Ving from the Clue movie somehow. And Flashdance.
Here, aren't you?
I don't know what else he's
Oh, my God.
Who
It's
was
like
he
if
in
Ducky,
Clue?
If Ducky went emo. Oh, God.
Oh, Lee Ving played Mr. Body in Clue. Okay. That's who he was. All right. I that was weird. And Daniel Roebuck. You know, who I know from Matlock. 1987.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, this must have been after his success with Hiding Out. So
I got to look this up. John Cryer, IMDb. Oh, what just happened?
I don't know.
Oh, here we go. All right. One monitor went black there. I don't know why.
Okay. Hiding Out was in 87, so was this. So it must have been like a 1-2 punch. Pretty in Pink was in 86. So he was riding high from Pretty in Pink and then went on to
Flea
star
had hair,
two
so
movies.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Daniel Roebuck. Is that?
It's
that's the guy that played Jay Leno in the Night Shift movie.
Well, he was also like, well, I don't know. Did you watch Matlock?
No.
Oh, how did you not watch Matlock? It was on for like 12 years.
I caught bits and pieces of it. I never watched like.
He was the detective in Matlock, or the private eye investigator, whatever you want to call him.
Well, one of them.
Yeah, one of them.
They cycle through several.
Well, yeah. So, alrighty. With that said, folks, we are done for this evening.
Jon Stewart was in Superman 4?
Probably as a kid. So, folks, thank you for tuning in to PTR Radio this evening. We will be back in 2 weeks. That's going to put us back on the 10th. So look for us on February 10th. If you are looking for me by chance, on Saturday evening, I will be at the Bank of Springfield Convention Center in downtown Springfield hosting the largest trivia night in Central Illinois. So you can look for me there. PTR Radio will be well represented. You will be able to see our banner up on the screens before, during, and after the trivia night. And we may even have our public information officer there judging. Not sure yet. So, yeah, Mrs. Shaggy may be there. So I think I put her as communications director last year for her title. So, but yeah, so I'll be there Saturday night if you're looking for that. So hopefully some folks will come and stop by. Big event. All right, you guys got anything coming up?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
I'm old.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Trust me. So, all right, folks, that is all that we have for this evening. I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I am Mike the 8 Man.
Stick a fork in us, folks. We are done. Later.